Welcome back, guys. Happy New Year. And let's make the best of it. All right. Rock and roll. All right. For your eye candy purposes, today's eye candy is brought to you by my collection of street racing cars, Hot Wheels, and dragons. All right. And as a reminder, this is for listening only. Please do not recreate, because I will not do another audiobook if you steal from me. All right. Page 76, chapter 2. The fact that he actually just seen and was threatened by death himself or itself, or watching the guard and his soul be extremely brutally ripped from the body and then hung like a Christmas ornament, or the fact that death was more creepy, way more creepy in person than in the drawings and in the stories. Just as sudden, the creature was gone as it had came. Everything was back to normal. A cricket chirped, and nightlife animals cooed. Kanbe stared at the now literally lifeless body. The skin was a silverish pigmentation. The whiz of a bullet snapped him out of a daze. The right guard had spotted him. "No, I don't have the heart to kill you now," Kanbe said as he produced a black egg. He tossed it and watched it as it exploded on the tip of the guard's barrel. The giant dust cloud splashed into the janitor's face. The janitor sneezed and then lowered his gun, fell down, and passed out. "I introduce you to the Sandman, a black egg filled with potent sleep medicine," Kanbe said as he rappelled down the rest of the way and disconnected. He pressed a button on the rope and the whole grappling contraction started to automatically pack itself up. Kanbe looked down at the flowers and grass that's now dancing happily in the light breeze. Hell, the true killjoy. He will be back, but for now, home, meditation, maybe he might even treat himself to a special spicy sushi. Kage was a self-made billionaire. Through blood, sweat, and tears, he made it. The nice thing of not existing on any paperwork or computer systems was when he made enemies, before they could vow revenge, they usually ended up dead. Or they were already dead. As far as the authorities and the Alphabet Group agency, they got tired of looking for a myth. 17 years, even designed a special unit of police with special laws that only abided to them, the PSU. And even then, they couldn't even find as much as a security photo. Even had some ghosts come in and work for the PSU, even they were baffled. Eventually, it was passed off as a cold case, some psychopath serial killer using the legend of a vampire ninja just to have them running in circles, looking for a mystery man that didn't even exist. Shino Kage got home at 10:30 p.m. By the time he put all his gear away, he realized he hadn't eaten anything since the early afternoon, and his stomach growled. Page 77. Back at the lawyer's office at Bidal and Bizel, a man lay dead with his throat slashed. Demonic symbols were drawn all over the top floor. Abyssal, the language of hell. A stand with an old ancient brown leather book said to be written by Satan himself stood in the middle of the room. This book, the Book of the Damned, was then given to some stupid fool who played into the lie of ultimate power. Bought it off of a crossroads demon. But all those TV shows that are on now show proof of why crossroad deals are really bad. The buyer always gets screwed in the end. The book should have never been allowed to exist. But somehow, some way, it was able to subtly and quietly enter into the land of mankind. Contained knowledge of corrupted angelic black magic now. Yeah. In the hands of desperate and black-hearted mortals. This book had a mind of its own. Could summon all kinds of nasty things from hell. It even hinted ways to bring the goat god himself to earth. 666 ways, to be exact. There was so many exact ifs that had to be in place for the summon to work. Like full moon, 6:56 p.m., that sort of thing. The book whispered of great power, conquest, riches, and even fame. Drawn to the book's dark energy, many men became corrupted and died. A few came very close to unwrapping its secrets. But when whispers reached the sky of black magic being practiced, guardians were called to see to it that the whispers stayed whispers, that they did not escalate into a threat. They foiled over 1,000 of generations of attempts. A man finished with the last symbol. He was a black-haired man, 5'7". He was Japanese and the former Emperor of feudal Japan. After the war, the Emperor disappeared mysteriously. He faked his own death and became a traitor and helped Igarayu leave Japan. Or what was left of Igarayu. The Emperor's palace was in the Koguryu province, so he slowly began to favor the schools in the Koguryu province. Supply runs began to thin going to the Igarayu province. Attacks on the villages of Kogoryu increased as a retaliation for the lack of love that used to be abundant in the land of Iga. Even funding was reduced to once every 2 weeks. Page 78. It became painfully apparent that the emperor no longer cared about Igarayu. Though one of such power was not supposed to pick favorites, he had dodged several attempts on his life. The Black Dragon still didn't trust him, but they worked with him because he did get them into America under the impression of building a better business in America. Thus, Bidell and Bizel Lawyer Office was created. Some even went to college to be lawyers. But the lawyer's office was just a front. The real operation was enlarging the Black Dragon to be bigger and larger than any pre-existing mafia. A payment for the way they have been treated in the past. Exactly 2 years before Kanbe brought his family over through a much harder route: legalization and immigration, where the Black Dragon and Emperor Raydon Lee simply paid their way through customs and got all the paperwork done while still in Japan. "It is done, master," Raydon Lee said as he set the bowl of blood down. A reddish-black fog swirled around the ceiling and then slammed itself into the corpse. The corpse came to life. A Black Dragon member turned his head and murmured, "That isn't natural." The corpse spoke with a slightly high-pitched, dark voice. "Good. Good job, my faithful and obedient servant. How many seals are broken? John Williams of the Church of the Saints will be the 590th seal. No signs or sightings of the beings of light I told you about? None thus far, sir." "Good. This is very good. When I rise to earth, I will give you riches and power beyond your wildest dreams." Raydon Lee bowed his head. "Thank you, sir." The corpse became lifeless again. "My, how the great have fallen. I remember the stories they told of the great feudal lord, Emperor Raydon Lee. Won several wars, built the Nameless Shadows and the Black Dragon Dojo, brick for brick. Made them the 2 best ninja schools in all of the land. Figured out how to walk both ninja and samurai paths. Got a lot of slack for it too, but they still followed you. Now look at you, bowing your head to some black magic demon thing. You were once so an honorable man." Page 79. Suddenly a 6-foot blade was at the man's throat who was leaning up against the doorsill. He slowly turned to the sword wielder. "You may bear the Black Dragon logo, but your disrespect will not be tolerated. I'd be careful where you point that thing, boy. You may have all that fancy ninja hoodoo voodoo skills, but I bet you're not faster than a bullet. The black dragon ninja looked down and noticed a Glock 9 pointed at his gut with the safety off. Enough! Sheath your weapons, brother. I will not have unnecessary bloodshed. Now, both of you, sheath your weapons, or I swear I will let the Grim Reaper feast on your soul. That does sound quite unpleasant. He clicked the safety on and gently removed the sword away from his neck with the barrel of the gun. What do you want, Francisco? Do you have news, or did you simply come to annoy me and see how close to death you can come? Oh, see, that's the problem with all you ninja folk. Always so official, no fun. Mind your manners, Francisco. We may be business partners, but you are in my house, so keep speaking in that tone, and I'll poison you myself. You don't have to understand the ninja way. Just respect it. Besides, a ninja is not a force you want as your enemy. Quick draw or not. Francisco sighed. Fine. I came to tell you that the Russia and half of Europe are fully operational as of last week. The tests are being run as you asked. That's good. He stood up and grabbed a towel and wiped his hands. With this newfound power from the supernatural realm, soon the Black Dragon will be worldwide and the largest, strongest mafia to date. And I eventually will be able to right my wrongs I have committed in the past. Francisco's tone went serious. Evil doesn't pay evil, Raydon. This darkness you're playing with, whatever black magic you've gotten yourself into, will be your undoing. It's not natural, and it will consume you. I can feel it. There's certain forces you don't mess with, and supernatural is one of them. Page 80. Thank you for your concern, Mr. Bollerero. The right precautions have been placed. You may leave now. The Russian with the French name pushed off the doorsill and began to leave, but spun around to say something. Raydon Lee sighed as he was already tired of this man's presence. What is it now? Francisco waved his finger playfully. Temper, temper. I was just going to say I saw your boy last night. Francisco paused and waited eagerly for a reaction. Yeah, he lives here in New York City. Walks by this building almost every day. Everyone in this building have seen him. Not paying you hundreds of thousands of dollars for outside recon and military spy surveillance to stand there like a buffoon, waste my time, just for you to state stupid facts that are obvious to even my manservants. Francisco sighed. You're no fun to toy with. Jeez. I'm not a damn clown in the box. You are starting to irritate me very highly. Apparently you have a security report. Spit it out and leave. You have overstayed your welcome. Okay, no need to get testy. My security crew reported seeing your boy grappling down this building last night in full ninja getup. He killed one of the guards that came out for a smoke break and Your ungodly pet appeared, did something to the body, and began talking to Kanbe. He must have got spooked by its presence, 'cause shortly after, that thing crawled back into its hole, 'cause he packed up all his stuff and vanished. Francisco turned around and walked out. Raydon Lee walked over to a cluster of chairs placed around the stand. He hiked his pant legs up and sat down. I'll tell you, Yakimoto, anymore, I'm beginning to think I'm the father of Frankenstein. Should I have started that project so many years ago? Can you hand me my cigar box, please? The room was empty and quiet. Then suddenly a man stepped out of the shadows and handed him a beautifully carved wooden box. Why do you say that, Lee? Raydon Lee took a cigar out, cut it, and lit it. He exhaled the smoke slowly, then said with a deep sigh, Yakimoto, you've been my most trusted royal ambassador since day one. Always by my side, always providing great advice. Oh, and by the way, congrats on becoming dancho of the Black Dragon Igarayu. Hopefully, you'll be able to guide them better than I did. Sir, why do you speak as if you're on death row? Yakimoto said, displeased with his tone. Death row? Yeah, that's fitting. Francisco's right. He's a pain in my butt, but he's right. I'm a fraction of my old self. I will be 67 years old soon. And here I'm making deals with the devil. My time is coming soon. Don't speak such nonsense, sir. Raydon Lee smiled as he patted the shoulder of Yakimoto. He stood up and walked over to the window. I can't speak on the devil's behalf, but I was referring to Kanbe Halamakari, or the name he's known on the streets, Shino Kage. I created him, and he will be the death of me, same as Igor and Frankenstein. It's ironic, actually. Kanbe Halamakri, Haruto's boy? Your star pupil in the school? Why do you say that? That young man practically worshipped you. You were like his second dad, Yakimoto said, concerned where the conversation was going. He'll be back now that he has seen the two guards with the dragon tattoo of yours. Once he discovers that I have aligned myself with the Black Dragon, he will surely retaliate. Still confused, Yakimoto said, Why? You don't think he'll be overwhelmed with happiness to see that you're still alive? He's going to have questions. Questions that I don't really feel like answering right now. Because answers I provide won't be good enough for him. You do realize he will come after you too, right? Kanbe plans on bringing down the entire Black Dragon clan for that faithful night. Hate is the only thing strong as love. And that boy has a lot of it pent up. I'm prepared to handle that. I'm practically his same age. Yakimoto proclaimed confidently. I would hope so. I have done everything I can and placed contingency plans in place to reduce the power of his wrath upon all of you. How well they work, though, I'm not sure. But you are prepared the best I know how. You have achieved the second-degree dragon belt. Just like him. Page 82. You have become a grand master like me. You already have strong samurai principles and the ruthlessness and resourcefulness of a ninja. And you even got a little something something extra to combat any gift he may have. Oh, which reminds me, were you able to get it? The product from the lab I asked you? A thick briefcase was produced from the shadows. Raydon Lee nodded his head in approval. Good man. Did scientists give you a hard time? They tend to have a dry sense of humor. Yakimoto smiled. No, sir. No trouble at all. Not sure if this is overstepping my boundaries, sir, but if I may ask, what is this? The security there was super tight. I felt like 1,000 eyes on me the whole time. It felt like one of those American military bases, Yakimoto said, handing the briefcase to Raydon Lee. Insurance, my good man. Insurance. Insurance against the unkillable vampire, Shino Kage. If he does decide to raise his hand against this building, this will stop him. He placed a briefcase on his lap and carefully unclipped the 4 side clips of the briefcase. Raydon Lee gently lifted the briefcase lid. About a ton of form-fitting foam and a single vial of bluish liquid was snugly placed in the middle. An ejection gun for the vial was on the left side. Raydon Lee gently and carefully plucked the vial out of the foam. Yakimoto, my old friend, remember that side research I was doing with Project Moonlight? Yakimoto raised an eyebrow. Yes? He paused a moment. No! Is that the anti-serum? I thought all of it was destroyed in the raid. Yakimoto exclaimed curiously. Fate has it, one vial of anti-serum survived. He gently shook the vial, and the blue liquid swirled around. What does it do? It's a violent concoction. Once inserted into his bloodstream, the atoms in this will attack and separate the serum from his normal cells. He will become very sick, constantly throwing up as it separates the serum from his body on an atomic level, thus robbing him of that bothersome super speed he has. That's savage, even for you, sir. Page 83. Hopefully he comes just for answers, and I don't have to use it at all. He paused and exhaled deeply. But I practically raised him. He was more in the dojo than at home. And just like wild animals, he has a terrible temper. And it will not easily simmer down. I've watched his first kill. No hesitation, no flaws. Some punk pushed his grandma's groceries to the ground, and she fell and broke her hip. This was before he knew how to use the super speed I gave him. He used the stealth training and the cancel of sound technique to stalk that poor soul. He pounced on the guy so fast he was on the ground bleeding out before the guy knew he was getting jumped. It was like watching one of those tigers up north kill its prey. Raydon Lee's eyes sparkled as he told the story of his star pupil. It was magnificent and flawless. The glint faded as the point of the conversation came. It is that very reason why I had the anti-serum made. Life is a lot like chess. And as Grand Master, you need to assess as many situations as possible, then make the proper countermeasures in case it comes to pass. So you won't, how the Americans say, be screwed. Or my favorite, a sitting duck. He smiled. Yakimoto bowed. You are very wise, sir. I will take your words into consideration. Rise, my boy. We are not in Japan anymore, and I am not your emperor anymore. The respect you provide me every day is enough to make me happy. We are equals now. You are no longer a royal ambassador, but my equal. I have taught you everything I know, and now you've even been accepted by the Black Dragon. Bowing is not necessary anymore. Back in Washington, D.C., a beat-up car rolled up to Gecko Cove. The car parked and a man got out. Hey, it's Slaw. What's up, Slaw? Slaw didn't see anything and walked up to Sparks and gave a strong hook to Sparks' left side of his face. You cheating two-time sleazy weasel. Slaw kicked Sparks in the nuts. Sparks took a minute to catch his breath. He reached in his pocket and flicked out a switchblade. Prick, you don't come up in here and deck people. Biggie saw this unfold. Page 84. Oh, hell nah. Not on my turf. He quickly went in his truck and pulled out a Sega 12-gauge shotgun and loaded it with 4 beanbag rounds. He walked towards the fight. Hey, yo, cut that shit out. Slaw and Sparks didn't respond. Oh, you gonna ignore me now? Both were launched back into Sparks' car. 1, there's no fighting in the sanctuary. 2, he pulled the pump forward. They tried to get up. Sit your asses down. Ain't nobody done talking. Slaw went unconscious and Sparks lay on the ground moaning in pain. Biggie slung the shotgun onto his back. 2, if y'all have a problem with somebody, come talk to me. Don't handle it yourself. Got my ghetto black self coming out here because y'all want to act like fools. Raising my damn blood pressure, stressing me the hell out. The both of you got some balls. Yeah, I think I read that right. A sea of quiet oohs cooed across the racing league. Everybody knew Biggie's story that had been in the league of longer than a year. Then you! of all people, pull a knife out on a fellow member 'cause you're a bitch and can't take a hit. Sparks saw this 260-pound ex-military, highly ticked off Goliath of a man walking towards him, and just like that, all fight spirit drained out of him. Biggie, whoa, bro, I'm sorry. Get up, you broken the code. What about him? Sparks stuttered. He's unconscious and he will be detained till he wakes up. You broke family creed. You want to flick a knife, flick it on somebody. You want to flick a knife, flick it out on somebody. Damn it. Okay, round two. You broke family creed. You want to flick a knife out on somebody, use it on me. Yeah, there we go. That feels right. Boss man, come on now. I'm been by your side since day one. Stand up. Just like the father to his kids, you about to get that ass whooping. Sparks got up and started slowly backing up. Come on, man. He raised his hands as if to say, I don't want any trouble. Biggie grabbed his shirt, yanked him close. Right rib, left jaw, uppercut. Sparks was launched into the air. He didn't have time to react. He hit the ground and just lay there in pain and didn't move. He also began to cry. Now that that's settled, can somebody tell me what the hell that was so important that the very creed the League was built on was just broken by these two? The one closest to Sparks' car explained. Slaw just rolled up, got out and walked towards Sparks, muttered something about him losing his granddad's Ford GT, and cold-cocked him. Man, don't tell me that you stole that poor boy's GT. He loved